Hi, I'm Miss Lynn Bryant, here on UHN with the People's Pulse. My guest today is Elle from Real Talk with Elle. And our topic today is how important is sex in a relationship? So Elle, how important is sex in a relationship?
I think that the misconception for people is that sex is important and it's one of the main topics or main areas in your relationship. Unfortunately, I think that is, not really the case, only because there are so many things that, as far as like communication and actually being, an actual intimacy factor with your partner that really take precedent. And, again, sex is one of those things that after a while, they're going to fade out. It's going to phase out. It may become boring if you don't switch it up. I mean, there's a lot of things that, actually take away from the whole sex issue. So I would say no, sex should not be the most important thing in your relationship.
Really?
Yes.
Not that important. So intimacy.
Yes. I mean, you have to understand intimacy. When we're talking about intimacy, we're talking about, actually being in tune with your partner, saying, again, that has to do with communication, saying having things in common, knowing what they like, what they dislike. Also, you have to also kind of take into effect, if this person is going to be with you, if you're going to be with this person for a long time, saying what is it that's going to sustain you over the long term? Right. Sex is not something that's going to do that. Okay. In realistically speaking, with men and women, what I seem to notice is that you have people that are in relationships, and then sex is good for about maybe 3-4 months, and then if you have nothing in common with them, right. What's to keep you there? Right. You understand? So when you think about that aspect of it, sex is really not that important. You have to have something that's going to be sustainable long term. So, saying although sex
is like a friendship, maybe.
Right, yeah. You should be friends. I mean, if this person is a person that you say you love and that you care about and, you want to, create that intimate relationship with them, this should be a person that is your friend. Right. Saying it again, saying that has nothing to do with sex. True. That just has something to actually getting to know your partner and, saying, again, just having that bond with them, long term.
Okay. Well, since sex is not really that important, but you do have the boring sex, how do you get past the boring sex? And what is considered boring sex to you?
You know what, to be honest with you, I don't, I've over the years, I've heard people say boring sex, sex, and it's like, okay, what is boring sex? That's like an oxymoron, you know what I mean? I mean, is it a sex?
Well, people say it's boring when people just lay there. You're not doing anything, no interaction, you're just laying there. It's boring.
Well, okay, is it really that boring?
Some people, hey.
But really, is it really that boring? There is some interaction, there is some, in and out, and, there is a climax. So it's really not boring. So you may not like it, you may want to spice it up a little bit. Right. But, to say sex is boring is kind of, unless you're unless you're doing it something that's like routine to you and you're kind of like, I could really use some new or something like that. Right. But again, like I said, I don't know what is. I know what people could say is boring sex, but I don't know. I've never had boring sex, so I'm just like, I don't know.
This is what the people have said.
Okay, you're
right. Boring sex.
No, you're right. Right. You people say that a lot, but saying in the true aspect of it, to me, there's nothing boring about sex. To me, it's like saying a sharing of saying just intimacy and lust
it's probably
and passion
boring from when you said about the friendship. And they don't have the intimacy. Right. So then it may make it boring then.
They make it, yeah. But like I said, new sex is always good for about 3 months. Past that, it's really not that great.
Well, what's your take on barter sex? Like I'll have sex with you if you, fix the sink or the garbage disposal. What about that?
Well, you know what? What's funny about that is I remember back, saying like a long time ago, I had a friend whose mother used to do that. Used to barter for sex to get things fixed in her home, get food to put on the table for her family. I look at it like this. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Sometimes you have to do things that you're not proud of in order to survive and make it. If that's the route that some people rob, some people steal, some people have barter sex. Right. But who am I to say no, you're wrong, no, this is not a good thing, no, this is, you're wrong, or condemn that person, because I have no idea where they are mentally, spiritually, physically, in their life, or what process, mindset they're in at that time that will make them, want to do that. I mean, like I said, who am I to judge?
Right.
So, to each his own.
To each his own. Okay. Well, what about frequency of sex? What's a good amount? Once a week, twice a day, twice a month, whenever? Well,
girl, if I could, I'm saying, if there was a way. I mean, I'm just okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it all depends on the couple. I mean, there are some couples. I had a friend, and she probably had sex with her guy probably once a month. Wow. And that was cool for her.
Right.
That was cool for him. Right. Me, on the other hand, no. Yeah, we're going to have to do this a little
more frequent.
A little bit more frequent. Yeah. I mean, but saying again, it all depends on the couple. Right. It depends on what level of intimacy you guys are at, how you guys both feel about sexual interaction, how you guys both feel about, being that close together. I mean, you have to understand, we have there are couples that are married or together and sleep in separate rooms.
That's true.
I mean, so you have to, like I said, everyone is different, every relationship is different, every person is different, so you really have to just kind of take it in the context of what it is that is comfortable for you and your partner.
Okay. Well, would you say, like, as far as age, like your younger years from now, would sex be better then when you were younger, or is it better now being older, or, from perspective from you or other people or things that you heard?
I would say that, contrary to popular belief, sex is better when you are older.
Okay.
And this is not, I'm just saying, I mean, because I'm not that old, but
right,
I'm just trying, I'm just saying, from what I've understood, sex is better when you're older because you get to enjoy it. You've got past the, the 20-something, the 18 to 20-something stage where you're either not having orgasms because the person that you're with is either not doing it correctly or they're doing it too quick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You kind of get past that stage.
Right.
You kind of get into that second stage where it's good, it's good to you, but you're not with the person that you want. You're kind of trying out people.
Right.
Because now you've kind of learned a little something and you want to try it out and see who it's best for, how it works for, for you and makes you feel. I think that when you're older, okay, you've gotten past those first two stages, you're able to enjoy it. Saying the intimacy means a lot more to you.
And you know your body more.
Right. You know your body more. Saying, your mindset is a little bit different than when you were 20 and something. So, I mean, I think sex is more enjoyable as you get older. I'm in my 30s, and I mean, I can say that from when I was, 20.
20, right.
You know what I'm saying? Sex is definitely different.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
I would say it's more enjoyable, right now, but, again, some people like it when they're, young. That's why you have cougars and, stuff like that. Some people like that young thing, but, I don't know. I'm thinking.
How you feel about that cougar thing?
You know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You know what? I mean, like I said, it's like a person that's seasoned dealing with a person that's in their 20s. Like I said, most guys in their 20s, saying are like, 7-hitter quitters or, 10-pump chumps.
Right.
I mean, so if that's what you're okay, if you're okay with that, that's up to you. But I mean, I have nothing wrong. Some women need that thrill in their night. You know what I'm saying? I date older guys because I like that kind of thrill.
Okay. Sounds good. You mentioned orgasms.
Yes, orgasms are awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
How do I want to phrase this with the orgasms?
I mean, orgasms are, they are what they are. You know what I'm saying? It is it's a beautiful thing when it's done right. You know what I'm saying? But again,
you have people who have never experienced one.
Right, and that's a part of being kind of you need that synchronicity with your partner. You know what I'm saying, with your mate in order to have a good orgasm. Right. That's what I would say.
And knowing your body too.
Yeah, knowing your body. I mean, but that knowing your body is one aspect of it. But I mean, the whole thing about an orgasm is your partner knowing your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be.
Some people say it's a mental thing. Like if they can just mentally be there with everything, then it can make the orgasm maybe stronger.
That may be
more intense,
true.
I
mean, but
mental.
again, that's somebody, you being in tune with someone else. That's not your own self. That's you being in tune with someone else. Because guess what? If you're mentally stimulated by a person, whether it be intellectually or saying sexually or whatever it is, that's going to make the experience more better, because your mindset is going to be thinking on how you can please that person and how you want that person to please you. And when you take all that into account, say yes, you can have a great orgasm, but understand that at the same time, if you're with someone and and you have an issue where there's a lust, and there's lust in more than love or anything else like that. Right. It's going to be like a cheap thrill. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to deal with the aftermath of how you feel mentally, and how you kind of like subjected yourself to what you've just done. So again, take all those things into account, and really it has to be about, of course, what you want as a person, but again, you being in tune of what it is that you're actually looking for. Are you looking for that one hit quitter, or are you looking for that long-term sustainability, or whatever?
Right. Okay. It is said that men show emotions through sex. And so for them, it's important because they think about it, every 1 or 2 or 3 seconds or something?
Minutes. Something like that.
Yeah, so, yeah.
You know what? There's one thing about a man showing emotion, and then there's like the he-emotional man. The emotional man. Okay. I was gonna say a different word, but I can't. But
what is that?
What, the emotional man?
Yeah.
That's the guy that everything is a thing. He's always crabby about everything. What you got on, and just a crabby guy. There's and so and it's just. And if you're into that, that's great. But actually, I read an article about this whole phenomenon the other day, and I was just like, man, I know some guys like that, And I was just like, yeah, emotional.
Wow.
I'll hook you up with the link.
Okay.
But no, there's nothing wrong with a man showing emotions, whether it's sex, whether it's during sex or just in life. Men are individuals. They're human beings. They have feelings. They have emotions. They cry. They get angry, just like women do. We cry. We get angry.
But because they show their love through sex, so they may want it more often because that's how they're showing their love to you or to the person. That's what I've been told.
Well, see, I would have to disagree with that, only because, I'm under the mindset that, if there was no sex, if he couldn't have sex, if you couldn't get it up, or if you as a woman couldn't, get your libido up, or he as a man could not get your libido up, how would he show that? Does that mean his love stops? You have to take sex out of the equation. That's my whole thing why I say sex is not that important. Right. Because, take all of that out of the equation, and then what you have left is going to be the foundation for your relationship. And if that is a strong foundation, that is what's going to sustain you. That is what's going to be good for you. The sex is really just an added bonus. But you have to kind of get that whole foundation going, in order to, understand why it's important, what's important, as far as you and your partner.
Okay. So then you would be okay with abstaining or while you're dating before marriage?
Yeah, I don't see why that's, a lot of times people, they say, oh, you shouldn't abstain, you should, go for it, and you want to test it out before you buy it. You know what? If that's you, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see why, if you are a person that wants to abstain and really kind of get to know a person, I think that would personally make your relationship stronger. And if that person that you're dating, or if you have a relationship with God, or any kind of religious based anything, that's kind of how the way it's supposed to go for your life. You understand? Mm-hmm. If you're following it to a T, but not everybody does that. But you understand what I'm saying? Right. I think that you really have to kind of just do what it is that feels best for you. Some people can have sex before they're married and be fine, be married 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Some people can wait, until they're married and still be married 20, 30 years. And then, somebody can wait for, 6 months and be divorced in 6 months.
That's true.
It just, like I said, it depends on that foundation that you have.
Hi, I'm Elma from Urban Houston Network. Do you need your bottom line to look better? Then you need to call UHN and let us help you with your bottom line by advertising with us. Call us today at 832-582-6666 832-582-7118. That's 832-582-7118. If your business, program, or product needs more exposure, then Urban Houston Network can help you achieve those goals right now. Church groups and community organizations are welcome to platform your message. So call us today and let UHN be the platform for you. That number again is 832-582-7118. And remember, Urban Houston Network, it's a lifestyle.
Lynn and Brian here. We're back with Elle from Real Talk with Elle. And our topic right now is creative ways to enhance sex in a relationship. Elle, what are some creative ways to enhance a relationship?
There are several ways
Okay.
that you can enhance your sexual relationship. I mean, again, sex is, it is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? You can either have some lay down on your back sex, and that might be good enough for you. And then you may need to be hanging from the ceiling. I mean, that may be good for you too.
Okay. What about toys being introduced?
Oh man, toys are awesome. Let me just say that first of all. Toys, I mean, they kind of bring a whole different aspect into the sexual realm.
Okay.
I mean, because, if you have, clitoral stimulation on top of, penetration, on, all those little things, I mean, all those things can help stimulate,
Right.
That helps, just with, with orgasms and, toys are awesome.
Okay.
I mean, but you got to know how to use them. You got to make sure that your partner is cool with
educated on it.
Right.
Correct.
That's correct.
What about location? Changing the location of...
Yes. You know what? I have a funny story.
Okay.
I have a friend of mine, and she told me, she says, yeah, she goes, I was trying to, spice up our thing with my guy, and she says, and I tried to say, you know what, let's do it somewhere different. And he said, yeah, let's go into the living room. And I remember him telling me that story, and I was just like, no, that's not really. That's not really a different location. Yeah,
right.
But it's interesting. I mean, you can, take your car, go in your car somewhere into the park, or in a restaurant, in a club, Mile High Club, on an airplane. There are so many different locations that you can take it to. I mean, there's not really one that's one better than the other.
Right.
Again, everything kind of revolves around what is okay for you and your partner.
Yeah, y'all comfort zone.
Yeah, your comfort zone. Like, how far are you willing to go to, change up locations? Because some people are scared, so they might have have more of an issue with, they don't like how their body looks, or, something like that. And all those things you have to take into account.
Right.
But location, doing things on location can be fun.
Okay. What about parties, like romance parties or something like that?
Parties
Where you get to buy toys and educational material.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, is there sex going on at those parties?
No, you're just getting educated.
Because education.
You're just getting educated so you can go and enhance your sex at home.
Right. No, education is always key. You should always have some education. Said again, but with experience, and I'm not saying experience with multiple partners. I'm just saying with experience.
Right.
Saying you're able to learn and do, saying different things, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But again, education is always something that you want to have on the menu, because you don't want to be doing something wrong.
Right, exactly. Putting something somewhere where it does not belong.
Right.
What about lingerie?
Oh, lingerie. You know what? One of the things I remember, seeing growing up was I saw, in the movies and stuff like that, was a lot of women, they had, lingerie. Mm-hmm. Now it's a little bit too, more graphic. They're just kind of straight to it, there's not any, any passion or anything in it. But, saying lingerie is a good way to entice your partner, and kind of, put them into a different mindset, kind of take, if you're walking around and you're a housewife and you're in a, sweatpants and a t-shirt all day, throwing on that lingerie is going to be a good thing, because they're going to be like, wow, I haven't seen this, I don't get to see this too often, ladies, there's nothing, put on some lingerie, fix your hair, put your makeup on, shave your legs, save everything that you need to be shaved, and, and bring your game on, bring your game face. Because men like that. Men, saying they may not, they may say, oh, they don't care, and they'll still have sex with you if you're in your t-shirt and your sweatpants, but you enhance the experience when you kind of make yourself look good for your man.
Well, what about the guys who like just t-shirts and panties?
Some guys are like that. But you know what, again, if you're in a t-shirt and panties
all the time,
yeah, that kind of gets boring after a while.
Right.
I mean, again, just you have to switch things up.
Right.
Switching things up is the thing that's going to make it different. I mean, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you think just because, you think your man loves you and he's not going to do anything, and he keeps seeing the same thing every single day, don't think that when some chick is, trying to get in his face, and she come with some black nippleless, whatever, he going to be looking at her like whoa,
yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got to keep that in mind, ladies. Don't just, don't get comfortable in your, in your appearance when it's time to get down with your man. If you get comfortable, he's gonna get uncomfortable and find something else that's new and fresh.
Okay, so you're down for flowers and things of that nature to try to enhance it, because some people will think that flowers would enhance.
I mean, you know what? Flowers, I mean, I've always been kind of a torn person with flowers, only because I'll tell you my philosophy.
They die so quickly.
Yes, they die. They're saying you have them for 2 days and then they're dead. Like, so what was the whole point? I mean, is our relationship dying? Is this what you think of our relationship? It's 2 days worth of, nice, pretty stuff.
Right, and some people think, okay, what did you do wrong? Why did you get flowers? What are you making up for?
I mean, I know there's a lady that I know, and every 2 weeks, her husband sends her flowers, and I'm thinking to myself, really?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
you need to switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, because and she's got vases all over her thing, and I'm just like, no, these are not a lot of nice vases, but nothing in them. What do you have to? I mean, if you guys get divorced, I mean, you're gonna have a lot of vases. You know what I mean? Like, what is? I mean, I guess that's good. I guess. I mean, saying there's nothing wrong with flowers. Saying, but don't make flowers too routine. You know what I mean? And you know what, ladies? I mean, really, sometimes maybe you should send your man some flowers. That's something that's unheard of.
Right.
I mean, saying not a lot of men get flowers. I mean, so maybe that would be an option for you. I mean, saying men, if you want to send flowers, there's nothing wrong with sending flowers. But don't make it so routine that, your girl's expecting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, every week.
Every week,
every day, whenever.
Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter, all that kind of stuff.
So, Elle, what would be some other romantic things?
I mean, it depends, saying having a date night. Date nights are, especially if you're in a marriage and you have children,
right?
Or even a relationship and you guys have children, a date night can do wonders. It makes you guys, kind of go back to the essence of what it was that got you guys together, and say it helps, to explore that and enhance that intimacy that you guys have for each other, and just, are able, just kind of make things a little bit out of, less routine for you guys.
Right.
So we say date night, and then, again, anything, something, go on a cruise together, go on a trip together. I mean, even though a lot of times with families and the economy now, they may not be affordable. But hey, you know what? You don't have to fly to, Las Vegas or New York. You can go to San Antonio. That's like a couple hours drive. You know what I mean? Do something like that. Just get away. Get a hotel room. Even if you can't leave the city, go to the Hyatt downtown and get a suite. I mean, saying that's something that you usually don't do, and it's gonna, saying enhance that relationship that you guys have, or enhance the, intimacy, and bring a little romance into it.
Right. Yeah, you can bring the lingerie, the toys, and all of that
to the suite. And it's like, hey,
there you go.
What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. What about role playing?
Oh, another good thing to enhance your sexual life. I mean, again, like I said, with people, doing the kind of routine things all the time, something like role playing can really kind of lets you be someone else.
Right.
Saying for the night, and then still come back to your life. You know what I'm saying? So nothing has changed. But I mean, with role playing, you can be, I know everybody says, good cop, bad cop, or the maid and the school teacher, or just whatever it is that you want to do. Saying role playing can do that. Okay. I remember I watched a show many years ago, and they were, the lady was dressed up like a prostitute, and her husband came in there, and he was just like a guy at the bar, and they acted like they didn't know each other. They went and had great sex, and then the next morning, she's like, "Okay, honey, I'll see you at home, when you get off work." And that was and that was their thing that they did. Right. That was their thing that they did, but that's how they kept it fresh between them. I mean, and there's, again, ladies, men, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Again, all depends on your comfort level with your partner.
Okay. Okay, what about swinging? Swingers, swinging.
Again, if that's what you're into, go for it. There's nothing wrong. Houston has a very large swinging community. Clubs that you think are just regular bars are actually swingers bars, and you're just like, whoa, I just came here to get a drink. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
What's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, but again, it all depends on the comfort level. And, if you guys are into that, there are so many resources that you can have, in order to get into that. And sometimes, as long as, again, that is a little bit different because you have to have the mental aspect of saying, okay, I understand that I love this person loves me, and what we're doing here today, we're sharing, but but this doesn't take away from our relationship and what we have as a couple, our intimacy or anything like that. You have to be in that mindset. You have to be able to handle that. If you cannot, that does not work for you.
Yeah, don't do it.
But if you can handle that and say, okay, look, we're just doing this one thing, and this has nothing to do with our relationship. This is just a side thing we do whenever. That's gonna be a viable option for you.
Okay. So with the swinging thing, I guess there's S&M.
Yes. S&M, and that's kind of where you incorporate a little bit of pain into your sex life, whips, chains, handcuffs, beatings, boots, just whatever.
Wow, okay.
Choking. Hey, some people.
So you got your role play with the beating.
Well, hey, you can do whatever. Do whatever. It depends. Like I said, it depends on you as a person. S&M, I don't know, 10 years ago, nobody even heard of S&M, even though it was going on, in select circles. Now it's kind of like, okay, are you into S&M? That's kind of like one of the questions, you ask if you want to be, hey, are you into S&M? Some people are, some people are like that. But again, it just depends on, like I said, your comfort level with your partner or whatever. Because, there's nothing wrong with S&M. I know people that are in that community that have been married for, 10, 12 years, and they're doing fine. And they do it every night. And my poor friend, and I love her to death. And sometimes I see her, she got a black eye. Yeah, sometimes she got a black eye. And you know what? And I laugh and I'm like, oh my goodness. But you know what? That is what, that is what the one special thing between her and her husband that they share.
Right.
And then, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
As long as you are able to incorporate that into, as long as you're comfortable with incorporating that into your, relationship, that is okay. Again, nothing wrong with S&M. Nothing wrong with S&M.
Okay. So, do you have any other creative ways?
Girl, how much time we got? No, I'm just kidding. Again, saying it all depends on who you are as a partner. My advice to anyone that wants to bring any kind of, spice up your relationship, number one, be creative. There is nothing worse than, following the footsteps of someone else, of your girlfriend or whatever. Even if you want to take something that, someone did and put a spin on it. Even for me, and if you want to take something, put a spin on it. Don't just say, oh, well, you know what? My homeboy did this, so let's try this.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you have to do your research for everything.
You do.
And playing, the swinging, the S&M.
You are exactly right. You're exactly right.
Good locations.
Yeah, right.
Play.
You're right. But again, like I said, the one thing that I have to keep stressing is make sure that whatever it is you do, however creative you think you want to be, make sure that you and your partner are on the same comfort level and the same comfort zone.
Right.
Because if you have two people that are out of sync, out of balance, it's not going to work.
Right.
You guys have to both be, understand each other and be, comfortable with each other.
Well, that comes back with the friendship that we talked about in the earlier segment.
And intimacy.
And
all that kind of stuff.
And if it gets to a point where you're no longer comfortable with it, then you guys need to talk about it and probably stop, cease.
Right. That's why communication is so important within a relationship. More important than sex. Because you know what? If you can't talk to the person that you're with, sex ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna be good. It's just gonna be that what it is. So communication is also key. So again, just whoever whoever your partner is, make sure that you kind of share that with them. Make sure that you communicate what's going on, how you feel, how, even if you guys do a role-playing thing and say, just how that makes you feel as a person, or how that makes you feel the experience. So,
well, I'd like to thank Elle from Real Talk with Elle. Elle, would you like to share something with the audience?
Yes, you can catch my show every Saturday night, 10 p.m. www.blogtalkradio.com/LGZ.